Welcome back to Inside Politics with CKN. As I said at the beginning, today we're going to discuss a very important issue, and that has to do with diaspora voting. Over the years, across the globe, we've seen situations where citizens of other countries vote at various elections. Recently, we saw that of the United States, where Americans living in Nigeria were able to vote. And by the records at my disposal, in 2022, we had remittance from diaspora running into about $29 billion. Remittances from those in diaspora to the Nigerian economy, that is huge. And that has come up during the review of the Electoral Act. There were some attempt to make Nigerians in the diaspora to also participate in what happens in Nigeria to vote. So that is going to be the main thrust of our first segment of the discussion. Later, after that, we also come back to the studio to also have a discussion with another of my guests. But let me take you straight to our guest this evening, all the way from the United States. I have with us Mr. Joseph Oluwadare Faduri, who is joining me from the United States of America. While we say good evening here, I think in the US it should be the afternoon. Good evening, Mr. Faduri, if you are just joining, if you are, yeah, okay, I can see you. Good evening, my brother, how are you?
Good afternoon from Houston, Texas, and good evening, Nigeria.
Thank you very much. It's nice having you on the program today. First and foremost, let me ask this. Do you believe that Nigeria is ripe for diaspora voting as we have presently?
Honestly, the answer to that is no, because well, we don't even have legislation for that to start with. But it is something that we have to really consider after this election. After 2023, we must do our best to put up a bill that will allow people in diaspora to vote, just like we have it in the United States. Because honestly, what is affecting Nigerians in Nigeria is also affecting Nigerians in diaspora. And if we're going to have a country where we're going to have the kind of Nigeria that will, a new Nigeria, the kind of Nigeria that we want, then we must involve Nigerians in diaspora to participate in Nigerian politics. So it's very important that Nigerian diaspora is involved in the polity of the country, in the election of the country. But right now, I do not see it happening, but it is something that we must look into before the next election, after this one.
There have been mobilization by politicians. Some have visited the especially the presidential candidates, some have visited the United States, others have the United Kingdom and various parts of the world. And the question is, how well informed are Nigerians in diaspora, those in the United States, United Kingdom, and other parts of the world, about the political activities in Nigeria?
Thank you for that very important question. Before now, a lot of Nigerians feel that once they get a visa to get out of Nigeria, go to Europe, Canada, America, they feel that they have escaped all the poverty, all the problems in Nigeria. But recently, we're beginning to see that the money we're sending to Nigeria is even much more than the bills we are paying abroad. The bad economy of our country is beginning to affect us that we are even abroad. The kidnapping in our country, the looting in our country is beginning to affect the economy of that country that is so bad. The unemployment that is one of the highest in the world is affecting some of us abroad. Because when you say Nigerian number now, you are scared to pick the number. Not because you don't want to talk to a family member, because you know that it is one demand or the other. Friends are calling, everybody is calling, and everybody is asking you for money. So now we have gotten to a point where the burden of the country is now being shared by people abroad. So that is why people are not getting involved in, okay, who are the leaders? Who are the people running us? And yet we hearing about trillions of dollars budget every year. And yes, there is no development. There is no project development. There's nothing you can see. All we are seeing is looting. So people abroad are getting more and more acquaintance and more interested in what is happening in Nigeria, because the home front is now affecting us that we are abroad.
Thank you very much. Now that takes me to the next question. it is very disheartening to know that most of these politicians travel abroad. They travel to the US, United Kingdom, and Europe, and other parts of the world, and see the way things are done. And most of them also benefit from some of these things provided abroad. But when they come back in Nigeria, why is it that they find it difficult to replicate same in Nigeria? That's why the fact we still have the fund to be able to do that. Is that selfishness on their part, or is just outright, I wouldn't want to use the word wickedness, but that is what it seems to me. How come our politicians, some of them even go to some of the best universities abroad, but when they come back and we elect them, you see them, instead of providing some of these things, they just go on looting spree. Why is this so?
Thank you for that very important question. And that question you just asked was the reason why I got involved in Nigerian politics in 2022. I never wanted to be a politician. I never wanted to get involved in Nigerian politics. I was part of those who feel let's leave our people to handle it. But I was also amazed. And how can we have people, most of these people, some of them school abroad, some of them lived abroad for a while, and when they get into government, it is so hard for them to affect people's life. The problem that I realize is that a black man by nature is oppressive. So because a black man by nature is oppressive, then when you get to power, you know that the feel is that if you empower the people, if everybody is okay, then who is going to do Ogasa? Who is going to, then we're all going to be equal, then it's not going to be easier, to influence people for election. Because look at America. It's going to be hard for you to come and give me $20 to vote for you, or $100 to vote for you, because I can afford it. So I think that it's a gimmick by politicians that will suppress them economically, will suppress them financially, so that when election comes, we can be able to dictate the tunes of the election. So it is a selfish and wicked wickedness on their part. It is something that they are doing to benefit their personal political gains. It's not because they have the interest of the country at heart. For the past 8 years, I have a foundation called Help Foundation. I felt with that, I could use to help Nigerian people and contribute my own quota to the Nigerian economy. But I realized that our problem is beyond what foundations can solve. The country is getting bad and bad by the day, getting worse and worse by the day. In the word that I always say, it's a country that has everything but lack everything. Our country has everything. We have the oil. Most of the countries in the world that don't even have what we have are doing well, they are flourishing. Why on earth we are the one borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, and Nigerians cannot even see what we are using the money to do? All we are doing is borrowing to loot, and borrowing to loot. I don't know why black man or African man or Nigerian leaders are so selfish, so wicked, so unkind even to their own people. And now it's beginning to affect them. It's not just affecting ordinary people, it's affecting them. And that is why Nigerians must get involved in the election, whether you are at home, whether you are abroad. You must get involved in the election of your country, because whatever happened in Nigeria now affects everybody around the world. So it is selfishness and wickedness on the part of our leaders to suppress the people so that they can continue to dictate the tone of the election when time comes.
Yes, from what I've seen, from the clips I've seen, and which most of our viewers must have seen, it's so obvious that I know the party you belong to. It's so obvious from your chest, and some of the clips I've seen. It's obvious you're a member of the Labour Party. But let me ask this question. Many people have believed that this is going to be a three-horse race between the APC, PDP, and Labour Party, unlike what we had in 2015, 2019, where we had only the PDP and APC practically swinging between themselves. Do you think that the Labour Party presently has what it takes to be able to wrestle power from these two major big political parties?
Thank you for that question, and I would like to give you a little brief history of how Labour Party became a third force in Nigeria. In 2022, January 1st, I declared to run for president of Nigeria, and I came down to Nigeria to see which way to go. I joined PP party and woke up the party, brought the youth of Nigeria, woke them up, and at the point, Atiku Tinubu came to hijack the party. He saw that this party was going to be a third force. Then he came to hijack the party with money, which is what politicians do. So I left and I moved all Nigerian youth and moved them to the Labour Party. Labour Party was sleeping. There was nothing happening. And right away, I got into the party in March, and I woke up 36th state of Nigeria, Labour Party, and making it a third force, even before Peter Obi came to join us in May. So I am glad, that if we're going to break the jinx of politics in Nigeria, and those who have been terrorizing that country and not ruling them, not leading well, then we need another party that will come out and make and challenge them. And that was what we did. We brought up Labour Party as a third force, and right now, Labour Party is a third force that is giant enough to win this election. If we're not close to winning this election, then Labour Party will remain a third force and a third party that can continue to work to hijack power from these other two major parties in the future. So that is what we have done so far. So far, right now, I know that the chances are there because a lot of Nigerian youths, Nigerian elites, are with Labour Party, and those who are not okay with the way the role the country is taking, I'm sure are going to be going to Labour Party away. Okay,
Mr. Faduri, in 30 seconds, because we want to sign off on this segment. Are you satisfied with the preparation of INEC towards the election so far? 30 seconds, please.
Well, I think that Nigerian INEC is evolving. So far, they are trying. There's still areas where they need to improve. So we'll continue to see how things are going, and we hope that they are able to conduct a free and fair election, not use party in power to rig this election. So, but they are trying, and I know that there are areas where they need to improve. So, and I hope that they will do that to make sure that this election is free and fair for the world to see.
That is Mr. Joseph Oluwadare Faduri, a Nigerian politician and entrepreneur based in the diaspora, based in the U.S. He just joined us right from Texas in the U.S. Thank you very much for joining us, and do have a wonderful New Year.
Thank you so much for having me, and Happy New Year to all Nigerians and you too.
Thank you very much. Now, when I come back, I have another guest in the house, and we discuss further on the political developments in Nigeria. Stay tuned.